Hello. He arrived near midnight when the mist began to swallow the forest. Tall, broad-shouldered, with an unremarkable face, except for the broken-faced wristwatch he kept looking at as if it were still ticking. The landlord asked no questions. He pushed the key forward. Room number 2, the mirror in this room is a bit blurry, but that's okay. Few people want to see themselves clearly when they're trying to forget. Room number 2 has a small painting hanging, an hourglass but with only sand at the bottom. He looked at the painting, sat down on the wooden floor, didn't turn on the light, just pulled out a photo from his pocket. A smiling little girl, hair tied to one side, wearing a yellow dress, giving a thumbs up. And he was in tears. He stayed in the room all day. No one saw him leave. And when the new guest arrived, all he left behind was a single line written on the wooden board in front of the common dining room. I was a bad father. I went everywhere looking for a day in the past, but yesterday, in room number 2, my daughter called my name for the first time in her dream. I will learn to live on, even though the clock is no longer running. The innkeeper added a broken clock hand to the glass jar of paper cranes. He called it a keepsake of the man who sought forgiveness but could not bring it back. That night, it rained again. Each drop of rain falling on the corrugated iron roof sounded like the lonely ticking of a clock. The girl in room number 7 sang for the first time. Sometimes, forgiveness does not come from the person who hurt us, but from ourselves, the person who has never forgiven ourselves. He had dreamed of room 2 for many years. It wasn't a room you could easily forget once you'd stayed there, because the moment you stepped in, the innkeeper would take away your watch and put it on the shelf by the door. There were hundreds of watches on the shelf, ticking away the seconds, each one a story of a life that couldn't go back. In the corner, there was a young couple laughing loudly, stealing kisses. They were so engrossed in each other, they hadn't noticed the rain outside or the darkness that had fallen. They hadn't noticed the boy in the adjacent bed watching them with envy. The innkeeper walked over and asked, "Can I get you something?" The boy blushed and whispered, "Actually, I was hoping to get a watch. Could I buy one here?" "Of course," said the innkeeper, pointing to the shelf. "You can pick one." The boy's eyes lit up, but after looking around the shelf for a while, he sighed. "They're all broken." The innkeeper smiled knowingly and said, "Actually, they're all exactly the same. The hands just move backwards. Would you like to see the time go backwards? To return to the past?" "Yes," said the boy, choosing a silver watch. The innkeeper took the watch and placed it in the palm of his hand. Then, in a voice like rustling leaves, he said, "Here are 3 rules you must follow. Don't tell anyone about the watch. Don't touch the hands, and whatever you do, don't let the hands reach midnight." The boy nodded eagerly. The innkeeper snapped his fingers, and suddenly the room was filled with a sweet, mesmerizing sound. It was the ticking of a clock. The boy looked at the watch in his hand and saw that its hands were moving backward. The boy looked at the photos on the wall. They were pictures of the inn, but they seemed strangely old. Then he realized he wasn't the only one in the room. There was another boy there, and the 2 of them were standing right where the bed was now. Then the boy looked back at the watch in his hand, and the face of the watch seemed to change. The hands stopped moving. The boy tried to calm himself. He shouldn't have taken the watch off. He shouldn't have looked at it. Now the innkeeper would know. He heard footsteps approaching. He turned around and saw the innkeeper standing in front of him. In his hand was the watch. Its hands were spinning wildly. "Why did you break the rules?" asked the innkeeper in a disappointed voice. I just wanted to go back a little further," said the boy, embarrassed. The innkeeper shook his head sadly. "You broke the rules, so now I have to send you away." The boy panicked. "Wait, please don't send me away. I promise I won't take it off again, please." But the innkeeper didn't answer. He just took the watch and moved closer to the window. "Goodbye," he said softly. Then he opened the window and the boy was gone. Only the faint sound of his laughter could be heard from far away. The innkeeper stood by the window for a long time. When he turned around, the smile on his face had disappeared. In the corner, the young couple was still kissing. The boy in the adjacent bed watched them, envious. He looked at the watch in his hand, and the hands were moving backwards. Soon, it would be midnight. What will he do tonight? Will he tell the others about the watch? Or will he keep it a secret and use it to go back even further in time?